Welcome back to another episode of Seen and Solved. I'm your host, Tim Pennington. We spent a lot of time talking to Hubbard-Hall's team who are out there on the front lines, visiting customers and solving challenges. But today, we're taking a closer look inside their business and sitting down with two people who really know how to make things happen behind the scenes. We'll talk with plant manager Tim Large and warehouse supervisor Mike Kohlberg, who have a combined 35 years experience in Hubbard-Hall's production and warehouse operations.
You're listening to the Seen and Solved podcast, brought to you by Hubbard-Hall. Better results, less chemistry.
So Tim and Mike, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We really want to know exactly what goes on behind the scenes. So why don't each of you we'll start with you, Tim. Why don't you guys kind of give me an idea of what your job titles are, what you all do at your, because I know you're in South Carolina and Mike's in Connecticut. So tell us about what you do down there.
Yes, hello, Tim. Yes, I am the plant manager here in Inman, South Carolina for the Hubbard-Hall plant. And my job is just run the day-to-day operations and take care of the equipment and the building at this facility.
Bring product in and get it out the door, I'm sure, is the most important thing to do there. Mike, what about you? How's that differ? Are you doing pretty much the same thing up there?
My job is warehouse supervisor in our Waterbury, Connecticut facility. And my job is to all receiving, all warehousing, and all shipping.
Right.
Everything that comes in and out of the building.
And so all these are products that end up at a customer's, either their shop or their whatever type of operation they've got. So it's interesting to kind of take a look of kind of how you all put it together. So kind of walk me through a journey of a product. We're talking about a product, like I said, that'll be shipped out to a shop or one of your customers. Talk about the whole journey from, getting it in, raw materials, to when you finally ship it out, it's on the truck being delivered to your customer.
So the journey starts in purchasing, and they order the raw material or materials being sold to the customer. At that time, they enter a purchase order. They put it on a purchase order schedule, ends up on the receiving schedule, gets delivered to our building. At that time, we receive it in. We check their certificate of analysis. We make sure everything is in spec. Everything is in good condition. At that time, we receive it in. We go over everything. We put it away into a storage location using our scanning system, and we rotate everything out for our production team for when they need the material.
And so, Tim, tell us a little bit about, like I said, how products make their way and how you all set up your operations in South Carolina so that you get the raw materials in and get them out the door to the customers.
When a customer puts their order in, it goes through customer service. Then it comes to me there. Then I'll put a worksheet in through the computer system. Then I'll lay it out on my production schedule and schedule in the manufacturing part. Then the manufacturer guys, they'll come get the batch tickets, and they'll go to their tanks wherever it's scheduled to make. Then they'll make the product for the customer. And like I say, everything they do is on a QC program. They had to QC it before they put it in drums. And we'll drum anywhere from 5-gallon pails to 55-gallon drums up to totes and whatever the customer needs. It goes through that process, and then as it goes through manufacturing, them guys gets finished, we'll put it in the system and have it on our floor for our customers. Then it'll go out to shipping.
Interesting. Like you said, I hear from a lot of customers that they're kind of frustrated. They can't get the multiple size options anymore. It's usually just a large shipment, but you all do various different sizes that people can order from you all, correct?
Yes, we'll do. Like I say, we'll do anywhere from 5-gallon pail to 55-gallon drums, 330 totes, 275 totes, and we do a couple of tanker businesses. So,
something I learned just the other day from a shop was that I didn't realize that chemistry actually goes bad after a very short time. So you've got to kind of keep it moving through and getting to the customer, not just sitting around, right?
Yes, sir. It's very important to rotate stock. We practice first in, first out.
It seems like you've got some quality control stops along the way where you're checking. You kept mentioning you're checking this, you're checking this, you're checking this. What are some of the things you're checking for, just to make sure that it is what it's being labeled as being, and what the mix is going to be, and those type of things?
That's correct. We're checking to make sure that it's the proper name of the product. We're making sure it is the product. Nothing's leaking, nothing's open. We're also checking to make sure lot numbers are correct, and the material being within spec on their certificate of analysis.
So what are some of the biggest challenges? It's something I probably would be very bad at, because attention to detail is a problem for me. But so what are the biggest challenges you guys have in ensuring that, that what your customer is getting is a very consistent, high quality each time?
As we make our products, Tim, we run a QC on every product we send out to our customers. As it gets manufactured, before it ever gets put in a container, we run a QC on it and make sure it's quality products before it ever leaves this facility.
Hey, one of the things I know, being in a lot of shops, there's not a lot of room there. So a lot of these customers want this material in a specified time, not too early. And like you said, if you get it, it might spoil. So they kind of want it right on time. So what are the kind of some things you all do to make sure that customers are getting their material and their products in a good, timely manner?
Well, we actually run off an MRP program as well, and it'll forecast what our customer kind of wants in a month's time. So it'll kind of forecast us and give us a heads up on what may be coming up. So we lean heavily on that MRP program.
With you all, how do you guys have a system that kind of does your inventory management and those type of things? How much space you've got too?
We do have an inventory management system. Space for us is more visual at this point. We do know how many open spots we have, but we do consolidate on a daily basis. So we're constantly opening up space, and we're ready for whatever comes in. We always have space available. So
you've got kind of two functions going on at this, right? You've got the warehouse, and you've got the people in the production, right? So they're making it, and then you got, how do you all get that communication set so everybody knows what each is doing? So you've got that, like I said, you've got this space, and you've got the materials ready when you need it. How do you guys communicate in a good way that?
We do a 2-box top it every morning with my manufacturing guys. We do a 2-box top it, and we talk over to what's going on during that day. Then later on that morning, we do a talk with shipping and customer service, and let those guys know what we're making today, what's going to be able to ship, and just so on. So just try to communicate the day's process, what's going on that day.
Is that the same for you, Mike? Is just making sure that everybody knows what's going on and talking to people? That seems to be a lost art these days, it seems.
Yes, in our facility, we work hand in hand with production, and there is a schedule that's put up every day that we could actually quick reference. We do have a weekly meeting with open orders to make sure all the orders are on time, and even if it's a phone call to production or a quick email. So those are our lines. That's
definitely, like I said, end result, you got to get stuff to the customers at the right time. I know both of you have kind of made a kind of an adjustment in your schedules, taking on some new rules. Tim, first, let's talk about that. I know you kind of went to a first shift role to really kind of manage some more things. How did that change for you, and how did you adjust to that?
It went pretty well, Tim, because I've been training for this position for a while. I just worked kind of behind the scenes. So the transition went very well. I worked with all my guys in the past, and even the guys on first shift, I worked with those guys. So had a lot of respect from them, and I got a lot of respect for them. So the change went very, very smooth for me and Hubbard-Hall. So didn't even seem like we missed a beat at all.
And I know, Mike, you went from an equipment operator to a supervisor. What were some of the lessons learned along the way? How did you adjust to that?
And it was very similar to Tim. Is I worked alongside with my direct reports, and same thing. I have a lot of respect for them and for what they do, and they have a lot of respect for me and what I'm trying to take on. And the most difficult thing was becoming a thinker instead of a doer. Think about how help the team without being on the floor working hand in hand with them directly all the time.
You're not just worried about your job. Now you're worried about you and everybody else's job, how it's doing this, right? You've got 6 or 7, 8 people you're going to be working with now, I'm assuming on that. With that. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So you all, like I said, are pretty far away, Connecticut, South Carolina. How do you support each other in the two functions? I mean, or in the two locations of being that far away? Do you communicate much with each other, interaction at all with that?
Yeah, we talk on the phone pretty good bit, and we email back and forth, and just any issues I have, I can bounce off of Mike, and just same. He knows he can call me and bounce anything he has off of me as well. We got a very good relationship between the both of us.
What other kind of communication tools do you guys use, like as communication and practices, so that you kind of know what each other's doing, or if you need to get information to each other? What are you using these days?
We meet monthly for operations meetings, and we go over in details what's going on in each plant. We also go over safety, and we do meet quite frequently during the month too for other meetings.
Safety is very important these days, with especially in a warehouse where you have equipment moving around and heavy packages and things like that. So I guess it's very important to remind people from time to time. I'm sure you guys have programs that are constantly going on with those safety.
We do safety talks, and every morning we'll do a safety talk just to make sure everybody being safe, and try to stress to the guys to look over each other and make sure, if they need any help or anything, they can help out as well. That way, safety always comes first. Then we've actually started up a lean program. Well, we've always had lean, but we started back into it really heavy. So we're seeing a lot of things come up. People's got ideas to help their processes. So looking forward to that continuing.
Number one for me was organization when I became a supervisor. And my thought process was, how can we be our customer's best supplier? So we neaten everything up. We use barcoding. Barcoding is huge for us. Organization. It also helps us accuracy. So accuracy is big. We want to get the customer the right product in a timely manner. So that was big for me.
You all had talked about lean manufacturing. I wanted to ask a little bit about that because, as we all know, lean manufacturing doesn't mean you're doing the work with less people. It doesn't mean that, of course. But talk about lean manufacturing. I mean, you're trying to be as efficient as you possibly can in what you're doing and still producing very high quality products for the customers, right? But talk about what you all have been doing with the lean manufacturing aspect of it.
We've just been trying to find waste in our operation. Mm-hmm. Here we're just trying to, find a waste where we can save time and save money, and to be able to get our products out cheaper and faster for our customers. That way we can be their best supplier. And, at the end of the day, we want those guys calling back on us, because if we're not satisfying them,
they're going somewhere else, probably. Yeah, which is not good with that. Yeah. And same thing in Connecticut. I guess you all are, Mike, trying to really look for ways that you can, save time and money and still get the product efficiently to the customer with that.
Absolutely. In small steps, and sometimes in larger steps, and even changing some processes along the way to better serve the customer and to get them what they need. We say with lean, we want to serve the customer like we want to be their best supplier, but we want to do it better than any other supplier. Do the things that the other suppliers can't do.
It takes a team to kind of get this stuff in the door, do what you need to do with it, and then get it out the door. And I know that, in this day and age where workforce development's a struggle sometimes, how do you all train, motivate your employees and your team members to, that every day they have to bring their A game to what they're doing?
Yeah, that's just a lot of keeping the morale up and then working as a team, and just, to bring back the lean program, and they can see that they can implement ideas themselves and to make their job easier. And
what about you, Mike? Anything you kind of found that works really well?
What works well is to have the people doing the job make the suggestions, backing up what they're saying. They feel involved. They feel that it's important to them, and they do the job the best because they're doing it all the time. And if usually we're listening to them and they're coming up with the ideas and we talk about it together and then we try to implement them.
You mentioned barcoding earlier. Kind of talk about that a little bit of how that's really impact your work, how you all, I'm sure that's much easier to do it that way, where you can scan things and really track things easier that way. Talk about that a little bit, how that's been helpful.
The best part about it is everything is live. We know where everything is. When an order comes down for a customer, we know exactly where that product is. We go to the product, we're able to scan it. Like I said, it's accuracy. And, in the past, I'll give you an example. In the past, you would look for a product before barcoding. And if it was put somewhere not scanned, you might waste an hour looking for it. And, that affects the customer.
It delays things. I'm sure it does. It delays, and a day or 2 day can be a huge for a customer who's waiting for that. I'm sure. Well, I'm sure with everything you guys are dealing with, to know where exactly something is has got to be extremely helpful. I'm sure.
Yes.
With that. Have you two ever met? I know you're 6 states away. Have you guys met?
Yeah. Mike's actually been here. And helped us set up barcoding. He's the expert on it, and he came down and trained all my guys here. And I've actually been there as well and met Mike as well. So,
Mike, have you suggested that, from November to March, you go to South Carolina and Tim come up to Connecticut where it's 4 degrees? Have you suggested that to anybody? Or
I have suggested it multiple times, and unfortunately they said, you're doing a great job in Connecticut, and Tim's doing a fantastic job down south.
You can't lose a superstar.
Can't lose a superstar. You stay right where you're. Let's share some war stories here, success stories. Anything that recently that, you've all have really kind of pulled a rabbit out of your hat and got done for a customer that was kind of a urgent need, a success story in that way? Well, Tim, we'll start with you. Anything comes to mind?
A couple of weeks ago, I had a customer call in, and they was fixing to shut down our line. So we were big on heat treat salts, and they needed 5 truckloads heat treat salt in 5 days. So we had to really work hard and get both shifts. We had to run 2 shifts here. So 2 shifts work about 3 days trying to get this out to our customer to keep their line up and running.
So did you have the raw materials there already, or did you have to go out and source those as well?
We had 3, enough for 3 truckloads. So our purchasing group had to reach out and get enough to make the last 2 truckloads.
Wow. And you're able to get all of those in just 5 days, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. We took the order on Friday afternoon, and we had it shipped out Thursday morning.
Wow. Very good. That's a big lift there with that. Yeah. Mike, what about you? Anything that, like you said, you guys have been sort of challenged to get done and was able to kind of pull it off for you?
Yeah, more towards the end of the day when we're ready to go home and very busy. Trucks are coming in and out. We're shipping everything out for the day. And then we get a customer that's down. They have a line down. We have local drivers that are working in our Waterbury area. And we've had to go to either New York or Massachusetts to keep a company up and running. Multiple times, I believe, in the last 3 months, we've done that, made direct runs right to the customer. And they're taking time out of their day and from their families and to get it done. And they're very happy to do it.
Yeah, if you can understand that these are your lifeblood, these customers, and emergencies happen sometimes, right? They're not going to happen every day, but when they do, you got to kind of step up and kind of be the hero with it, right? Well, listen, guys, I appreciate you taking time out and really kind of explaining to listeners, the products that they're ordering, the process they go through. It's not like it's magical. It just shows up. Like I said, it's probably being handled and touched many, many times by many, many people and put into the system several times and moved from point A to B, C, D, and F. But it gets there. And I guess that is the main goal, is to get it to them on time and at that very high quality, right?
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Yes.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you joining us, and we'll touch base with you again someday.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks for listening to Seen and Solved by Hubbard-Hall. For more episodes, visit hubbardhall.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to like and subscribe, rate and review, and join us on social media. Produced by Awcast.